Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome into a Monday edition of KC Sports Tonight. I am Mark Poulose, joined by Gabe Swartz, as we are ready to talk about one of the best things in all of sports. March Madness is set to begin. Gabe, we got our first reveal of the bracket yesterday. It's kind of let us marinate for about 24 hours. We have the one seeds that have come out. We're going to talk maybe about them first. We have Duke, number one, Florida, number one, Arizona, number one, and Michigan, number one. Out of those one seeds, you surprised by any of those, or who do you think's the best one out of those four?
I think that given the league that they play in and the test that they've faced, that Arizona is the best one seed. And we talked about it last night on the selection show, that Duke's injuries give me a little bit of worry. That I think that they were probably on similar footing. I think that Duke, Arizona, Michigan are in a tier of their own. The injuries to Patrick Gongba, Caleb Foster hurt Duke. The injury to L.J. Kaysen for Michigan certainly hurts them. He tore his ACL. Florida, they have by far the most losses of any of the one seeds. They also played in the SEC, which had a lot of tournament teams, but not a lot of quality tournament teams. I think that league was a little top heavy, and certainly weaker at the bottom. So my final answer would be that Arizona is the best one seed.
Boy, and that takes a lot coming out of you, knowing that you're an Arizona State graduate.
Objective basketball
He's just
analyst.
saying it through gritted teeth up here, folks. I know he's trying to give a basketball analysis, but hey, I'd have to agree. I think Arizona's the best team in the country, but the best team doesn't always win. But this year we had two local schools who qualified for the NCAA tournament. We're going to start with the one that's a higher seed, a 4 seed in the East region, the Kansas Jayhawks. They are going to take on 13 seed California Baptist. KU entering the tournament with a 23-10 record. The California Baptist Lancers. Gabe can get to that in a moment.
That's what they prefer, yeah.
But they go 25-8 entering the tournament. They actually won their conference title on a kind of funny play where I think it was Utah Valley had a dunk to tie the game late, and they just missed the dunk, and hey, that's how the cookie crumbled. But KU, a 4 seed in this region. And Gabe, I know this KU team has really been up and down all season long, and I hate to say it, but I think KU could maybe win this game and then face St. John's in the second round and might be going home early. I know. So KU, let's just talk about it. How are you feeling about with them going into the tournament? Because, I mean, the last time that we saw KU play, it was Iowa State, Friday night, Big 12 tournament. The Jayhawks started the second half 0 for 16 from the floor in a building that is often called Allen Fieldhouse East. So kind of stumbling into the tournament. How are you feeling about the Jayhawks?
Yeah, I was there at the tournament this week, and I will say that the two Kansas games that were played, it did not feel like some incredible home court advantage. Certainly KU had more fans than TCU. They had more fans than Houston. But that building was overtaken by Iowa State fans. And then Friday night when Iowa State got their hearts ripped out by Jaden Bradley, it was a Kansas fan advantage. But I think that the difference between when KU plays at Allen Fieldhouse and when KU plays at the T-Mobile Center is that there's almost a personal pride that KU fans take in defending home court at Allen Fieldhouse, and the belief of people of, oh, Iowa State's going to beat them, they're undefeated, or, oh, Arizona's going to beat them, they're undefeated and Darren Peterson's not playing, or Houston's coming in and people say, oh, Houston's won the league a couple times, they're going to beat them. And every time that KU was a home underdog, they rose to the occasion at Allen Fieldhouse. It is different at the T-Mobile Center, where when things don't go well, the crowd gets a little more restless. The crowd, I don't think that they're the quickest to get up there and really urge people on. And Bill Self said the same thing Thursday night, so I'm not the only person in that group that thinks that. So I wasn't really that impressed, if I'm being frank and honest, by the Kansas fans at the Big 12 tournament this year. I thought that generally the vibes were not very high. The team, to the defense of the fans, the team did not necessarily play with much energy and much vigor, as Bill Self pointed out both of those nights. So I don't know if they are to blame. What I will say is I think people are getting a little ahead of themselves, assuming it's just going to be KU St. John's, because Northern Iowa is a good team. Everybody's like, oh,
they're grinders.
Northern Iowa, they finished 6th in the Missouri Valley. They were the 6th seed in the conference tournament. They upset all these kinds of things. By a lot of the numbers, Northern Iowa was a very similar team to Belmont, who their head coach is now K-State's head coach, and was the best team in the Missouri Valley for the regular season. The gap between 1 and 6 in the Missouri Valley was not that big. It's a solid league, and it is usually extremely competitive, and that is indicative of the fact that Northern Iowa, they do have one thing that they do really well, and it is defend. And they're a top 25 defensive team. So I think they could give St. John's trouble, and I think it would be honestly very funny if we get KU Northern Iowa for the first time since 2009.
No, that would be an unbelievable game. And no, I think you're exactly right. I think a lot of people are kind of putting the cart before the horse here. And I mean, Northern Iowa, they're going to give St. John's everything they can handle. I mean, I think that game's going to be a fist fight. It's going to be a tough game, and we'll kind of see who prevails in that one. But when we talk about the Kansas Jayhawks, I mean, this is a team that has the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, and it really depends on which team is going to show up and how they really show up in the gym that day. I mean, you look at KU, they beat 3 top 5 opponents this year. All those games, though, were at Allen Fieldhouse. I mean, I think that's something that we have to talk about. Maybe their best win outside of Allen Fieldhouse was when they went down to Texas Tech and won that game down there. But I think a lot of the KU conversation really starts and surrounds Darren Peterson. Now, is the team necessarily built around Darren Peterson? I think you could make the argument that it really is not. But when Darren Peterson, this is a guy that, I mean, he's been talked about so long as the projected number 1 overall pick in this year's NBA draft. And I feel like the way maybe basketball has been played in the last couple of weeks, he's really played himself out of that conversation. I think you look at what A.J. DeBonsa did here at the Big 12 tournament, those performances that he have. You see what maybe Cameron Boozer has done for Duke. You look at Darius Acuff down there at Arkansas. Darren Peterson is a guy that a lot of people thought was the best player in college basketball, and we really have not seen that in a lot of the big games that we've had so far this year. I think Darren's probably best game that he played all year was when he did play against A.J. DeBonsa in Lawrence against BYU, and then ever since then, I mean, not that I'm trying to bag on the kid. He's 19 years old, but I think his production has really tailed off. Like you see, he is playing more minutes recently. He's finishing games, but his efficiency has just gone out the window. I mean, he's like 5 for 17 from the field, 4 for 13 from the field. I mean, that's not going to get it done here in March Madness. So, Gabe, how do you kind of feel? Because I mean, and also look at some of the players around him. Trey White. Where has he been in the last couple of games? Almost on a milk carton. He's not doing hardly anything. Yesterday, Bill Self said he's rested Melvin Council because so much of what KU does revolves around Melvin Council. He needed to give him a day off so he can kind of get back to his mojo, because KU is certainly going to need him if they are going to make a big run. But, Gabe, long way to say this. KU, I feel like, is either primed for an early round exit or a deep run in the tournament, and it really is going to depend on which team shows up against California Baptist on Friday in a game you're only going to see right here on your favorite station, KCTV5, tip-off at 8:45 p.m. But your mood on this team, do you see them making a run? Do you see them finding it here? Because I know Bill Self said on Sunday, or after they lost, on Friday, that a new season is about to begin.
So, several thoughts. I think, one, we have to remember that KU started the year ranked 19th, right? They are currently, I believe, in the AP poll, either 17 or 19. So basically where everyone thought they were going to be at the start of the year, they ended up being a 4 seed. That is in line with expectations. Now, the route that they got there, you can argue with and banter about. We've certainly done that all season long. But I think all of the conversation and focus about whether he's playing or not for Darren Peterson has incorrectly or unfairly placed the blame for the KU struggles as of late on him. Yes, I would say his efficiency has not been as great. His shots have not fallen. He has missed a lot of jump shots as of late. It has not been as efficient as it was earlier in the season. However, what I would say is his quote-unquote bad games, he played poorly. He would tell you he played poorly on Thursday night in terms of shooting the ball. He still got to the line a season high in attempts, had 24 points, played a season high in minutes to help them win against TCU when a lot of guys were not making shots for them. He hits the game-sealing turnaround jump shot at the free throw line to close that thing out, and I thought he played really well. Even when he played poorly against Houston, he had a team high in points in that game, and I think everyone ends up focusing on Darren because they'd say, "Oh, he didn't bail them out," but Melvin Council went 1 for 14. Flory Badunga took 2 shots for the entire night, and Bill Self would say that maybe it's not Flory's fault, but it's certainly his teammates' fault. A lot of the offense runs through Melvin. A lot of the offense runs through Flory and Bryson being able to play 4-on-3 offense. If a team doubles the ball screen and whoever's handling the ball when the ball screen is set. And Bill Self said, I didn't think we played well in our 4-on-3 offense when they trapped. And everyone would say the same thing. They scored 47 points on Friday night. It was ugly. So I think a lot of the focus is on, Darren Peterson, his shot hasn't fallen. And I don't think that needs to be the worry because he is such a good player. Eventually the shots are going to fall. What I do think is a bigger worry is whether Melvin Council is going to be able to be aggressive and find a rhythm and such and not be super inefficient and bog down the offense, and whether Flory can play well, because the ugliest KU games are the ugliest games for Melvin and Flory. That is ultimately the matter of fact. The Cincinnati game, Melvin was not great in. The Arizona game, Flory in Arizona, Flory was a complete non-factor. The Arizona State game, Flory was swallowed up by Masamba Diop. So I think that ultimately the KU season comes down to whether they can maximize and get Melvin and Flory to play better, and then Darren will be able to hit shots. He's going to make those shots. It is just when the offense just becomes, slow things down, Darren, save us, then he gets inefficient, and then it's, Darren's bogging down the offense. It doesn't look good. So I think he's taking too much of the blame when a lot of the others around him aren't taking. Like, they took so many bad shots Friday night against Houston, and yeah, Houston's defense is great, but I think that the anger of all that is misdirected. And if you look at the odds, them and St. John's, it's really a coin flip on like who would get out of this little pot of 4. If you just think of the NCAA tournament as 3 weekends of 4-team tournaments, which is all that these teams can think of it as. If KU makes it to the Sweet 16, I think that they fell in line with what kind of the expectations for the season are, and KU fans probably don't want to hear that because that's not acceptable. That's not what the KU standard is. But given what this roster was and what they've gotten out of it, I think if they get to the second weekend for the first time since the national title in 2022, I think that's a success.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy to say in the world of Kansas basketball. Obviously, one of the blue blood programs, one of the best. I mean, everyone here knows one of the best programs in the history of college basketball. But that's kind of the state of where things are. And actually, we talked about this yesterday a little bit on our Selection Sunday stream, but I want to bring it up here on this show. I thought it was very interesting that after the Big 12 title game, Arizona head coach Tommy Lloyd said that when Arizona joined the Big 12, he said it was pretty clear that they were chasing one program. I was kind of expecting him to say Kansas, and then what he said was Houston, the Houston Cougars. So that's kind of the state of college basketball. Yeah, is Kansas one of the best programs out there? Yeah, but the class of the conference and the team that Gabe and I just just said was the best team in America, Arizona, they said they were chasing Houston. So, but we got to take maybe a bigger look here at this East region. You look at this region. To me, it looks like the region to death. This is a very, very tough group. I mean, number 1 seed Duke, 2 seed UConn, 3 seed Michigan State, 4 seed Kansas, 5 seed St. John. I mean, think about some of the head coaches there that coach those teams. There are Hall of Fame head coaches there. Bill Self, Tom Izzo. I mean, it's unbelievable what's there. Louisville's a great program. They're the 6th seed. It's going to be tough. Whoever gets out of this region is going to be battle tested. There's no doubt about that. But again, going to this first round matchup for KU against California Baptist. This game's being played in San Diego, California. California Baptist is in Riverside, California, LA area, just an hour and a half from their campus. I'm not trying to speak it into existence, but these are kind of the things these are how kind of some upsets happen. I think KU needs to. They're definitely going to be favored by double digits there against California Baptist, but you can't look past them. You cannot act like this is going to be game that you have in hand just because of the way that KU has played this year. But they are not our only local team that has made it to the big dance. So have the Missouri Tigers. Missouri earned a 10 seed in the West region, and I think Missouri got an absolute gift from the NCAA selection committee because they get to play 2 hours away from their campus at Enterprise Center in St. Louis, a place where they played before already this year, a place where they practice already this year, and they're the only 10 seed in the entire country that's going to get to play kind of with a home court advantage. Now, Missouri is taking on the 7 seed from my alma mater, the University of Miami Hurricanes. Miami 25-8 going into this game. Missouri at 20-12. Miami a 1.5-point favorite in this game, but I think this game is really Missouri's game to lose. You think about the Enterprise Center on Friday night, I think it seats like 18,000 people. I think almost 18,000 people in that arena are going to be wearing black and gold. I don't think a lot of Miami fans are going to be able out there in St. Louis. But
part of that's going to be because Purdue fans are going to be in there wearing black and gold.
Oh, that's Spin Zone. You're right, because Purdue is also playing there. But, Gabe, you know, Missouri entering this last couple of weeks, they lost 3 in a row going into the tournament. A lot of people maybe a month ago thought they were an NCAA tournament lock. All of a sudden they were on the bubble. People thought that's where they stood, and then they're a 10 seed firmly in. Now they get, I want to say, a gift from the basketball gods. They get to take on a Miami team that really has not beat a lot of good teams this year. Miami's best win was against North Carolina, and then their maybe second best win against North Carolina State.
They got North Carolina when Caleb Wilson was healthy. So
it's a good win, but it's one good win all season. Missouri has beat the Florida Gators, the defending national champion, a 1 seed in this year's tournament. So if Missouri, I mean, as a 10 seed, I think they're primed to win the first game. How are you feeling about the Tigers?
Well, I looked at ticket prices today just because I was curious and what the night session on Friday night in St. Louis was going for. And 2 tickets just to be in the building, not a good seat, but upper deck. If you want to go watch the Tigers play the Hurricanes, and if you want to go watch the Boilermakers play Queens College of Charlotte, which I don't know what their mascot is. I believe it's the Royals. Actually, no, I do know what it is. It's the Royals. Fitting, funny.
How about that?
Very funny, yeah. If you want to go see those 4 teams play, I think it's going to cost you $420 pre the taxes and fees of whatever gets added on from a ticket site. With that being said, we don't have to act like Missouri is some unbeatable opponent and that even if they're playing in the Enterprise Center, they're going to have some dominant situation. They lost by 43 in that building in December to Illinois. And yes, Illinois is a much better team than Miami is, but my follow-up to that would be Miami is a team of similar caliber, of similar play style and type of.
No, I absolutely agree.
As Kentucky, who Missouri just played in the SEC tournament and lost. And so what I would say is the 1.5 point line that is out there, it was 2.5 yesterday, and so it's gotten closer. I think that is maybe a little bit of steam on Mizzou just because people are seeing, oh, they're playing in St. Louis. Surely that's an advantage for the Tigers. And I don't know if it necessarily is as much as people have played it up and played it into. I think, interestingly enough, the thing that intrigues me the most is that these are kind of similar-ish teams in terms of like the roster build. Ernest Uday, Sean Phillips, those are kind of similar types of players. Mark Mitchell and Malik Reneau, 2 4-men who both are lefties and are athletic freaks. And even you go down to the guard play and you have Jaden Stone, you have Trey Donaldson. I think it's a really intriguing matchup. What I would also say is there's people who advocate for filling out your bracket more toward trends and like ignore the team but follow the trends. 10 seeds have been really, really poor in the last decade. And so that doesn't bode well for Mizzou either. Basically what I'm saying is I don't know if Mizzou fans are going to like me after this segment, but I would feel better about things if I was a Miami fan than maybe everyone who sounded the alarm and said, oh my goodness, it's Mizzou playing in St. Louis. It's a lock. They're going to advance. I don't know if that I don't subscribe to that theory.
So something I actually find very interesting about this is I think a lot of Missouri fans are licking their chops because they get to play close to home in a building that they're familiar with against maybe you can say a middling team in the ACC. Like, I mean, the ACC is not as strong as it has been in years past. But I was texting some of my friends down in Miami, one of them who's involved closely with, he's very close with the football program, but he goes to every basketball game. He always sits on the floor. He likes to say he's touching wood when he's out there on the hardwood floor. But the Miami fans are also licking their chops at this matchup because they look at Missouri's schedule, their non-conference schedule. What did we say yesterday? 344th.
344th out of 361.
I mean, Miami sees Missouri as a paper tiger. They don't see Missouri as a team to be feared. And then also another interesting wrinkle of this is Coach CY, who was obviously the lead assistant last year for the Missouri Tigers, now an assistant with the Miami Hurricanes. He might give a little bit of the information of how maybe Missouri likes to attack things, how Dennis Gates likes to run his operation. I think that could be something that happens there. But hey, two local teams playing this week in the NCAA tournament. We're going to have all week to break those games down, and we have some more stuff to talk about today. And I think a lot of people are going to be interested in this next topic because it relates to the Kansas City Chiefs. Today, according to reports from ESPN and the NFL Network, the Chiefs have sent a sixth-round pick to the New York Jets for quarterback Justin Fields. Now, we all know the situation here in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL late last year. He's said many times he wants to be ready by week 1, but when you can make the argument that he's the best quarterback in all of football, he's the most important player to the Chiefs organization, or the most important person in the entire Chiefs organization, he's not going to be a guy that they want to rush back. So a lot of people were kind of wondering who the Chiefs were going to tab as maybe the backup quarterback and potential starter for the first 4 weeks of the season, and also the guy that's going to be the starting quarterback when they run their off-season program. And the Chiefs have kind of landed, if the reports are true, which it seems they are, on an interesting guy in former number 11 overall pick and Ohio State Buckeye Justin Fields. Now, Gabe, throughout his career, not the greatest starting quarterback in the NFL, tremendous college career, not necessarily known as a passer, better known for his legs. But when you heard maybe first that the Chiefs were acquiring a guy who started a lot of games, my first reaction was that this means that the Chiefs aren't sure if Patrick Mahomes will be ready to start by week 1. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
No, not necessarily, because I think it is just good insurance, and it is also just someone has to take off-season reps, and they want someone, as rude as it may be to say about Chris Oladokun, someone more qualified than Chris Oladokun, who has made dozens of NFL starts compared to Chris Oladokun, who made 2
I mean,
NFL
Chris
starts.
Oladokun was given a lot of chances last year. And,
Exactly.
And I'm not trying to be rude,
but
he proved he is not an NFL quarterback. He's not a backup.
He's not a
starter.
Yeah, he's a third stringer.
At the best, he's a third stringer.
Yeah. So with that, I think that this is a good thing. It is also, if you dive really deep into the NFL rules of how rosters get built and such, the way that the Chiefs maneuvered this trade, they give up a 6th-round pick. Essentially, the Chiefs are in line, as it currently stands, to receive 2 compensation draft picks for the free agents that they have lost. And if they spent money on signing a backup quarterback, they would have lost a comp pick, one of those spots. Picks. So the trading of this conditional pick for Justin Fields, basically, by some odd math of NFL roster building, saves the Chiefs a draft pick. And it also saves them some money because the Jets are paying part of his contract, because his contract is,
I think, $10 million. I think
relatively large. So
yeah.
the Chiefs are paying, I think, $3 million, which is cheaper, I believe, than what they paid Gardner Minshew last year. And if we're being honest, they're similar-ish type of players given their NFL resumes. I think all of that, plus the fact that if you really wanted to do something creative, you could throw Justin Fields into a red zone package because he could run the ball, and you can get creative with that kind of stuff if you're willing to risk your backup quarterback's health to do those kinds of things. He has the Taysom Hill type body type to be a fun skill type player with the ball in his hands. And as you pointed out, if Patrick Mahomes is not ready for week 1, it is a better option than several of the backup quarterback options that are back out there on the market. And it is, frankly, a much better option than paying Gardner Minshew $9 million like the Arizona Cardinals did.
Yeah.
So I think in general, Chiefs fans should be not like over the moon excited about this, but just like, yeah, good move, solid move, Brett Veach, good work today. 2 thumbs up.
I think
Good
it's a
move.
very intriguing move because
Yeah.
when you think about the skill set that Justin Fields is going to bring to Kansas City at the quarterback position, this is a skill set that Andy Reid has not worked with in his time here in Kansas City. I mean, just think about, I mean, he's a player that's really most known for his legs, his ability to run, his ability to maybe extend plays. And you look at, is that necessarily a guy that you want to, I guess, so what I'm saying is if Justin Fields needs to start games, you might have to take away his biggest strength because you don't want Chris Oladokun starting another game for Kansas City. You got to keep Justin Fields on the field if he has to be the starting quarterback, and I think you're going to have to find a way to maybe where Andy Reid will scheme some other guys open, make it a little bit easier there for Justin Fields. But another thing that kind of started getting the wheels turning in my head is so obviously Patrick Mahomes, freaking nature. We've seen him come back from injury super quick. I don't know if that's going to happen this year. But I'm thinking maybe later on down the line, like late in the season, potentially if the Chiefs were to make the playoffs next year, could there be a situation where we see Patrick Mahomes and Justin Fields on the field at the same time? Like Andy Reid is a very creative offensive mind. Think about the defensive tackle that they just signed from the New England Patriots. That's Kyrus Tonga.
He's been fullback before, yeah.
He's played fullback. So I kind of wondered, hey, if Andy Reid is kind of like, hey, I'm not going to go straight too much into the world of gadget land, but I'm going to have some pieces here where I can put some things on tape. I can make some other teams have to prepare for them. And, I mean, I could see maybe Patrick Mahomes lining up in a shotgun situation with Justin Fields to his right or to his left, and the other defense being like, what is going on here? Like, Andy Reid's going to find something to do with this guy. I don't think he's going to sit here and not do anything with Justin Fields. So I'm excited for the possibilities that his skill set presents.
They had Gardner Minshew on the field
Yes.
for that
The Raiders
super
game.
Interesting Raiders play. Yeah. So they got called back. So it's been
in the realm
done.
of possibility.
And Gardner Minshew's not exactly a spring chicken.
No, that was a very nice way of saying that. But, hey, we'll see how that all works out. Justin Fields, it looks like he's going to be running the Chiefs' offseason program. Very important, especially as they try to, bounce back from their 6-11 season and make some noise next year. Now, we have one last topic, a little bit less than 3 minutes. But today, Kansas State University introduced their new head men's basketball coach, Casey Alexander. He comes to K-State after serving most recently as the head coach at Belmont, which I actually believe was his alma mater. Spent 7 years there and won, I believe, more than 70% of his games there out there in Nashville, Tennessee. But now he comes to Kansas State. Today, he said he's very excited to be in Manhattan. He said one of the biggest reasons that he came there was the enthusiasm that a lot of people have for the university, Gabe. So I know there's kind of a joke online in college basketball Twitter that they say everybody is a good hire. They just don't know if it's going to work out.
Yep.
Is that how you? That's how I feel about Casey Alexander. But maybe what are your thoughts? I don't know if you heard any of his.
I heard some of his press conference. I also watched a bit of the media scrum that he did with reporters. I thought that the comments that he made about we will recruit high school, we will make it a priority. Most programs are straying away from that. I think that he has at least shown that while he was at Stetson and Lipscomb and Belmont, the 3 schools that he had been at, he has shown that he is a guy who identifies talent really well. Will Richard, who was on Florida, their national title team, NBA guy, he evaluated and found. Jacoby Gillespie, who's playing for Tennessee right now, really good player, has a pro future. He identified and found. And the comments that he made about identifying talent and having a plan for them sounds like a guy who knows what failed K-State in terms of just gathering talent and having no real plan for how it fits together. That was kind of the MO of the last 3 years. And I think Casey Alexander at least has a pulse on what went wrong for K-State. And whether it works out, we'll see.
And I think maybe the best thing for K-State fans, or maybe just anyone in the state of Kansas, is that this was their head men's basketball coach, and and he did not go up in the press conference and just embarrass the entire university, as Jerome Tang and Matthew Driscoll have been doing for like the last 3 or 4 months. I think that's a good news for Kansas State, because these guys, like it or hate it, they are ambassadors for the state of Kansas. So a lot of people, it is what it is. Good to see him up there. Good to see also the enthusiasm. I saw Colin Klein was there. I saw Jeff Mitty was there. So good to see the university rallying around their new head men's basketball coach. Obviously wish him the best of luck, and we also wish KU and Missouri the best of luck as the NCAA tournament is about to begin. But that's a look at KC Sports Tonight here on this Monday night. Take care, everybody.